You worked at a library, Lee Library, for 34 years, a long, long time, which is part of Wigan Council. You were worried about the involvement of a big construction project there of a Chinese company. They're building a new sort of shopping centre with a 150-room hotel, 464 homes, multimedia centre with a cinema, 10-lane bowling alley, indoor mini golf. My God, this place is a hell of a place, isn't it? Galleries, it's called the Galleries. So your problem with it was that they hired to do this huge project, 130 million quid, I believe, the Beijing Construction Engineering Group International, in other words, a Chinese company. And you quite rightly were concerned about the idea of, if you like, endorsing China because of China's human rights record. Tell us what happened.
Yes, it was just in a staff meeting. It was a large staff meeting, an information one. And they just said that they were going to be using this firm. And I just objected and said, I've got serious reservations about using a Chinese-owned firm because of the human rights records. A couple of weeks later, I was called in for investigation. This went on. They do have on their own webpage, it says that Wigan Council stands with those who are oppressed. It supports minorities. So I sort of...
unless they're a Norwegian Muslim.
Exactly. That was my concern. The Uyghur Muslims, the people of Hong Kong. So I just expressed concerns about that, was called in for investigatory. And then it was the anniversary of George Floyd's killing. And they lit up the town hall and they did a post on their own Facebook page saying how they stand with all oppressed people who are persecuted. And this just really annoyed me, because I thought if they really did, they wouldn't be doing deals with the Chinese regime. So I did actually go and do a video, and I spoke out and said that. And then I was brought in the next day, and I was suspended from work.
Did you put that video on Facebook or anything like that?
Yeah, I did put it on Facebook, actually. I wanted it to... I had raised my concerns internally about 4 times, but not really got anywhere, not got any answers to my questions. And I felt like, I love my town. I feel strongly about human rights, and I felt the people of Wigan needed to know, what was going on in the town.
We did try to get hold of Wigan Council. We just ended up with an answer phone. So I should stress they're not here to talk for themselves. But what did they? We will try to get some response for them, because it's only fair.
Yeah.
But what did they tell you that you'd done wrong?
They said that I had broken the codes of conduct. They said I hadn't, I'd brought them into disrepute, but I actually think it's their actions that have brought themselves into disrepute. I've only really spoke out the truth about my feelings about this firm. I'm a taxpayer. We live in a democracy. I'm a voter, and I feel that I have a right to have an opinion. Supporting me in this.
Yeah, and it's not like you were here today and gone tomorrow in terms of working for the council. You've been there 34 years. This is a freedom of speech issue, isn't it? You have the right to question the hiring of a Chinese company, don't you?
I think I've every right to express my opinion on that, and every right to express my opinion on the development. I mean, I've been working now and supporting the traders. They've been kept in the dark all about what's going on. They say there's been a full consultation, but there most certainly hasn't been a full consultation with the people of Wigan. And I do feel like I have a right to speak and give my opinion. And that's what I did. And I've got sacked for it, really.
And what's the exact reason that you've been sacked?
The exact reason was I have broken the social media policy. I have made comments that don't fit with their ethics and principles, which I would most definitely contest, because I think they are the ones who are not standing by their own ethics and principles. It's not me.
Okay, and so that you went onto Facebook, so you've broken their social media policy. They seem to indicate that they said the quotes that I've seen in the Manchester Evening News said that they said the reasons behind the investigation into you were long-standing. What's that about?
Well, they're not long standing at all. I've been there for 34 years, but I did stand as an independent in the 2019 general election. And during that period, obviously, when you're standing to be an MP, you might get asked questions. And there were a couple of comments I might have made in response to being asked questions on Facebook. So that was only 2019. But the problem, I think, is that they don't like any opposition and they don't like being questioned. So I actually don't think, I think it was in part, I think it was political. I did stand against them in the general election. And that was I've had no problems whatsoever for 33 years. All of a sudden I stand for election and they make out it's a long-standing issue. There were perfectly reasonable questions I was asked and answered.
Yeah, and you know, you have a right to this opinion. I mean, it's not like you're standing there saying, you know, Wigan Council is the worst council in the world and it's full of paedophiles or anything like that. You're just stating your concerns over the hiring of a Chinese company. I'm still trying to get to grips, Maureen, with why they think that is against the rules of your employment.
I think they think any public criticism, they say, is against the rules of my employment. But I would say they're not a private company. I am an employee, but I am also a council taxpayer and I'm also a voter, and I'm fully entitled to have my opinion. I've had massive backing, massive support from all three MPs from the Wigan Borough have written to Wigan Council, and I've seen those letters, and everyone, the reply was just, we don't think it's appropriate to discuss this. It's a matter of employment, but it's a matter of my employment, and I would like them to discuss it with the MPs. Lord David Alton has been out in support of me as well and said I'm right to raise these concerns.
And you're appealing against your dismissal, Maureen?
I am appealing, yeah. I've got an appeal in September.
And what's their response to that so far? I mean, they're going to have to sit across the table with you?
Yeah, I've not really had any response. I've not had a date for it yet, but they said it will be sometime in September. But I am appealing on the grounds, and I have been supported, like I said, by the Free Speech Union, by the Workers of England Union, who's affiliated with them. My colleagues have been supported, friends, the general public. I've had massive support, because I think it sets a dangerous precedent when they say that, you know, people cannot give a genuine concern. It's not a trivial issue to me. I love my town, and I think it should be invested in by a UK firm, and definitely not a Chinese firm, given the human rights abuses of the Chinese Communist Party.
Well said. Just finally, Maureen, 34 years, that's a long time to work somewhere. Must be quite traumatic to lose your job.
Well, it has been really upsetting, because I've really loved my job. I wouldn't have stayed that long. I've loved working with the children, they're older people. I love the customers. I love my colleagues. I love the Lee Library where I've worked. I've put a lot of time, effort and passion into that place. But I felt so strongly about it. I thought, I am going to speak out about this and I'm not going to back down. But I do intend standing anyway in the next local elections as an independent councillor. And I do want to change things in Wigan Council.
Well, you know where to come if ever you want to say anything, Maureen. This is Talk Radio, the home of free speech, and you're always welcome. Thank you so much for your time, and I wish you all the best with your appeal. In my view, you've got every right to say what you did. Maureen O'Bern, there, former librarian, sacked for speaking out about Chinese involvement in a massive £130 million building project in Wigan. I'm Kevin O'Sullivan, and this is the home and the zone of free speech and common sense Talk Radio.